the Church of Jesus Christ. Recently, the National Review reported on a resource guide by the schoolbook publisher Scholastic, which includes an LGBTQIA book list that offers their many children's books on these subjects. In the guide, they point out that the acronym, quote, stands for lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, questioning, intersex, asexual, aromantic, and more identities including pansexual, two-spirit, nonbinary, and genderqueer, unquote. This is in a guide for resources aged kindergarten and up. The guide features a glossary with words like one strange new one, which they said is, quote, a term combining allosexual, alloromantic, cisgender, and heterosexual/heteroromantic that is used as a shorthand to describe people whose gender and sexuality are privileged by society, unquote. That's an incredible word salad they've come up with to describe normal. And again, all of this is directed towards school children, and it's coming from one of the largest school book publishers in the world. They flat out admit the mission here. The guide tells teachers, quote, books and literature are never neutral. By engaging with queer literature for children and young adults, you are disrupting the status quo that implies being cisgender, heterosexual, and allosexual are the default. You are showing children an expanded way of thinking and being that validates all children and people, unquote. The ever more complex vocabulary for ever stranger orientations, which shifts and changes almost daily, isn't accidental. Much like the ridiculous propaganda coming out of the critical theory movement, it's designed to overwhelm you. It attempts to put a scholarly sheen on what would otherwise be recognized as pure nonsense, as if enough syllables and acronyms can make these ideas sound less absurd. The notion that normal male-female attraction is something that's privileged by society is one example of the silliness. The idea that they're trying to convey using lots of recently made-up words is that a few powerful straight people are conspiring to force heterosexuality on the rest of society. By that method, they can make it all sound very ominous, when in reality, it's simply how society organizes itself because it's normal and natural. These are enormously confusing times, and confusion is a big part of the goal. In such times, it's more important than ever to be clear in speech and thinking, to be steadfast in our devotion to the Word of God. In the midst of an intentional fog of lies, how refreshing clarity is. In the words of the psalmist speaking to God, how sweet are your words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth. Through your precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. And that clarity is something we must also give to our children and grandchildren, which includes pulling them away from the educational establishment that's trying to brainwash them with deviant nonsense.